Hello and welcome to Citizens Business Bank Arena for tonight's major arena soccer league game between the Ontario Fury and their Pacific Division rivals, the Tacoma Stars. This is the third and final meeting between the two teams this season, and it is Fan Appreciation Night here at Citizens Business Bank Arena. The Fury close out the home portion of its regular season schedule tonight. In their previous game, the Fury, they were tied with the Souls de Sonora at 3 in the third quarter, but the Souls scored the game's final 5 goals, scoring an 8-3 victory, which allowed Sonora to clinch the Southwest Division title. Up next for the Ontario Fury after tonight's contest, they will visit El Paso on Friday, February 24th. That kickoff time at 6:30 p.m. at the El Paso County Coliseum. The game is the second and final time the two teams will meet this season. The Ontario Fury's last meeting against Tacoma up in Tacoma, Washington. Tacoma's Michael Ramos scored with 1 minute and 42 seconds remaining in the game, as Ontario did lose leads at 4-1 and 7-5 with 3 minutes left to go in that contest, ultimately losing 9-8 at the ShoWare Center in Kent, Washington. Juan Carlos, or Charlie Gonzalez, did have 2 goals and an assist in the game for the Fury. And tonight's missing 2 links, if you will. The Fury are without the services of the team's leading scorer, Nick Pereira, until at least February 26th, as he is the United States National Beach Soccer Team member at the CONCACAF Beach Soccer Championships in the Bahamas. The U.S. are in a group with the U.S. Virgin Islands, Antigua, Barbuda, and Trinidad and Tobago. The team, which also includes San Diego's Chris Toth, open play February 20th, with group play ending February 23rd. The tournament is a qualifier for the Beach Soccer World Cup set for April 27th, also in the Bahamas. Also another scratch for tonight's Ontario Fury roster, Tino Nunez. Nunez is the head coach of the Long Beach Millikan High School girls soccer team, and the Rams open the CIF Southern Section Division 1 playoffs at Corona Santiago today, which kicked off at 5 p.m. The Rams were the Moore League champions with an 8-1-3 overall record and held a 14-5-5 record out of league as well this season. Well, there's a couple playoff scenarios that can happen after tonight's contest. Step number 1, if the Ontario Fury win, obviously Tacoma Stars will end up losing. That'll catch them up in the win column. Right now, overall records for both teams: the Tacoma Stars at 10-7, the Ontario Fury at 7-8. 2 games behind Washington, as they do also own the tiebreaker. Ontario visited Kent, Washington, and the ShoWare Center twice already this season, unfortunately with 2 losses on both of those visits. Tacoma, if they end up with overall tied records, Tacoma would advance to the playoffs because of the head-to-head matchups this season. If the Ontario Fury end up losing tonight and then losing on the road as well, obviously that punches no ticket to the playoffs. Step 1 is to win tonight, and even closer is to win the first quarter and quarter by quarter. I was talking to head coach and team president, of course, Bernie Lillivaugh, before tonight's contest. His boys are ready to go. They had a great week of training. They have some new additions on the team as well. Jiho Lee, the South Korean futsal star, is out here in Southern California making his MASL debut. Gino Kim also back on the roster, known formerly on the Baltimore Blast, Ron Newman Cup champions from last season. So some key additions, a very young Ontario Fury team this season, with the likes of Maicon De Abreu, Douglas Lima, and now just added Jiho Lee on the roster as well. All of those players joining the MASL for the first time in their young careers. Lima and De Abreu, both 19-year-olds from Brazil, find themselves a new home here out in Southern California. Chico Francisco Cordeiro, also a futsal star out of Brazil, finds his way out to the U.S. as well. And here they are playing for the MASL and the Ontario Fury. Like I did mention, head coaching team president Bernie Lillival, assistant coaches Jimmy Nordberg and Thales Peterson, director of soccer operations Giovanni Gonzalez, head trainer Shelby Daly, and assistant trainer Gil Salvador. Head coach for the Tacoma Stars, Darren Sawatsky, assistant coaches Mike Jennings and Lance Larson. Game officials for tonight's contest, crew chief Kyle Trimble, second referee Kia Defania, assistant referee Vince DiNardo, fourth official Ramiro Delgado, and the penalty box official Tony Ponce. The national anthem said here from Ontario, California at Citizens Business Bank Arena. What a beautiful rendition that was of our national anthem. The Ontario Fury will be in their predominantly white uniforms with red trim, as the visiting at Tacoma Stars will be there in their predominantly navy blue kits with some white trim. Rosters for tonight: Douglas Lima for the Ontario Fury, Maicon de Abreu, Thiago Gonçalves, Juan Gonzalez, Leonardo de Oliveira, Alex Caceres, Corey Murray, Andy Reyes, Jiho Lee making his MASL debut, Chico Francisco out of Brazil, Gino Kim, Israel Cisse, Arturo Alanis, Jamie Capinos, and of course his twin brother Joey Capinos in net for the home team Ontario Fury. For the visitors, Tacoma Stars, Corey Kites, Troy Peterson, Trevor Jensen, Raphael Cox, Derek Johnson, Jamal Cox, Dan Anthony Ook, Mark Lee, Joseph Kyrell, Joey Jertson, Evan McNeely, Ty Hall, Danny Wallman, Michael Ramos, and Alex Megson. So, of course, Step 1 fans, if you tuned in last week with Pep Fernandez on the call, thank you. And a special shout-out to Pep Fernandez, who covered the game last week. Unfortunately, a loss ultimately for the home team Ontario Fury, but a game in which it was mainly a defensive contest between the two teams. And Souls de Sonora, with that victory here last week, did clinch the Southwest Division title and a playoff berth. Your home team Ontario Fury trying to do the same. Of course, 2 playoff positions available out of the Pacific Division. Currently, right now, as it stands, it is the 11-5 San Diego Sockers and the Tacoma Stars. An overall record at 10-7, representing the Pacific Division in the Ron Newman Cup playoffs. Ontario trying to squeaked their way in. Of course, a 3-game win streak at a very crucial and important time of the season. Just stopped last week by the first place Souls de Sonora club. Last season, fans, it was a Tacoma Stars narrow victory up at ShoWare Center in Kent, Washington. The very last game of the regular season determined their playoff berth against the Ontario Fury. Of course, Ontario trying to get some redemption back, and it starts here tonight before they qualify for the playoffs coming up very shortly. 4 games left after this trip, fans. They will head out to Chicago, El Paso, Dallas, and Turlock. 4 games on the road to close out their regular season. This tonight being Fan Appreciation Night here from Citizens Business Bank Arena. Settle in. It should be quite the matchup tonight as both teams trying to solidify a playoff position in the MASL. So glad you can join us right here on MASL TV, the new network for all the action across the MASL. My name is Brian Tabajay here live from Citizens Business Bank Arena, and we are underway here from Ontario, California. So glad you can join us on this Thursday evening out here from Southern California. Of course, the known figure on the Tacoma Stars, Danny Waltman, their goalkeeper, in top 10 in save percentage and goals against average is Waltman. The Ontario Fury trying to break through like they did against the Turlock Express and Leonardo de Oliveira along the near side boards, and an easy save in the end for Waltman. When Turlock visited a couple weeks ago, Ontario just went on a tear, scoring a season-high 15 goals, scored from 9 different Ontario Fury players. What a showcase that was. And now along the near side boards, it is Charlie Gonzalez banking it off the boards, and Waltman reads that perfectly. Just underway here from Citizens Business Bank Arena. No score yet. As Tacoma, in their last match, did beat the St. Louis Ambush 9-5 on February 12th. Their next game will be against the Chicago Mustangs on the 24th, and that will be at ShoWare Center at home. They are undefeated at ShoWare Center so far this season, and on the road, a 2-7 record. Ontario hoping to continue that trend here tonight as they try and claw their way into a playoff position. The tangle near midfield between Douglas Lima and Kyrell. The restart coming very quickly. No men back defensively at the very last second. There's Jamie Capinos, who poked that away from any real threat before they got a shot off. A very quick restart caught the back line of Ontario by surprise. And now Francisco shields off one defender and nearly plucked out that near side post, maintaining possession in their attacking third. And now finally poked out of harm's way, nearly up and out of bounds, but Lima will clear that up to get out of harm's way. It is Gino Kim finding the pitch for the first time tonight. Andy Reyes now earns the ball back, and it is the Oliveira crossing midfield, going 1v2 against 2 Stars defenders along the near side. Andy Oliveira forces the turnover, fires to the roof of the net, and it's 1-0 here in the first quarter. Ontario. So tally that to 30 points on the season so far for Leonardo de Oliveira, his 17th goal of the season as well. Unofficially an unassisted strike right inside the box. Waltman, really no chance with that. A laser of a shot off the right foot of de Oliveira. And boy, did he capitalize to the tee for Ontario. It's 1-0 here in the first quarter. And now Charlie Gonzalez along the near side, going 1v1 and steers it just wide. It is Francisco on the reset for Ontario. In their predominantly home white kits, working from left to right here on the broadcast. Alanis now for Ontario, steps onto the pitch for the first time. We will see Jiho Lee, the South Korean. And now turnover again from Tacoma. This time it was Alanis and Francisco causing havoc for Tacoma. Jiho Lee making his MASL debut here tonight. Yet to hop onto the pitch, but head coach Bernie Lilova very excited for the young man out of South Korea to get started. And a dummy play. That ball dribbles across the face of the goal. And now Waltman on the restart for Tacoma. Fresh bodies onto the pitch for Ontario. And the aforementioned Jiho Lee, who will play in an attacking midfielder for Ontario. Francisco on the back check defensively for Ontario. Murray trying to hit Charlie Gonzalez up top, and then a long distance shot attempt is well wide from Tacoma. And then Antoniuk plays it to Waltman. Now along the near side boards, Ramos works for Tacoma and McNeely. Waltman steers it to the far side boards. It is Ty Hall going 1v1. Well done from Hall along the far side boards, and thankfully Caceres and goalkeeper Joey Capinos were on the same page there. Just over 10 minutes left to go in the opening quarter here from Ontario. A 1-0 lead for the home team, Fury. Vying for a playoff position. These two teams jockeying back and forth in the top two in the Pacific Division, or second place, I should say. San Diego in first place in the Pacific Division. There are some other games across the MASL tonight. Of course, one out here in Southern California, the Souls and the Sidekicks underway in the first quarter, the Rampage and the Heat in the second half, and the Sockers and Coyotes slated to kick off in just about 20 minutes local time right here on MASL TV's network on YouTube.com. Now Concalves. And now Charlie Gonzalez. He'll steer it out wide to De Oliveira. A left-footed shot attempt is deflected. That nearly found its way to the back of the net off the foot of Jamal Cox. And ultimately now into the hands of the goalkeeper Waltman. So De Oliveira nearly got two already in the first quarter. It is Kyrell now. And now Tacoma along the near side. A near-sided shot attempt, a near post shot attempt, just wide. That was Megson along the near side. And now Francisco, he'll utilize Thiago and a 1-2, and Waltman sniffs it out. Off the far side boards, up and out of bounds. A restart coming for Ontario. 8:36 remaining here in the first quarter. So glad you can join us right here on MASL TV, provided by YouTube.com. Of course, Ontario Fury Soccer, driven by Mark Christopher Chevrolet. Just want to say thank you to Casa Colina Hospital and Centers for Healthcare as well, along with National Community Corps Renaissance. Of course, you could also find tickets for Ontario Fury matches already. The 2017-2018 campaign season tickets on sale. The fifth season out here in Ontario, California. What a journey it has been. For tickets, you can call 909-457-0252 or visit the box office here at Citizens Business Bank Arena. 7:45 remaining here in the first quarter. Nearly a two-goal lead, but it is 1-0 here. As Ontario trying to take a step closer to the playoffs. Unfortunately, along the near side there. A little mix-up with the referee along the near side boards and one of the Fury players. And Antoniuk earns a restart after the foul was given. Unassisted goal from Leonardo de Oliveira to kick things off here tonight in the first quarter. Tacoma controlling near midfield. Right across the yellow line. Wonderful slide tackle there from Alanis. And he'll steer it out to the far side. That is Lee. And now Waltman for Tacoma. He'll utilize the near side. That is McNeely. And now Tacoma trying to work its way out of their defensive third. And now it is De Abreu streaking down the middle of the pitch. Fires off his left foot. Was Jiho Lee, and I can see exactly why head coach and team president Bernie Lillivaugh is excited for that young man and his career here in the MASL. A powerful left-footed shot attempt along the far side boards. Sailed up and out of bounds, and a first timeout on the field. A 1-0 lead here with 6:41 remaining in the opening quarter from Citizens Business Bank Arena. My name is Brian Tabajay. So glad you could join us on a Thursday evening from Southern California. Some other scores across the MASL tonight. It is a 7-0 lead. The Souls and the Sidekicks just got underway, and would you believe the Souls may be seeking out some redemption after a tough road loss up at Turlock not too long ago. They're taking it out, unfortunately, on the Dallas Sidekicks. In the fourth quarter, an 8-6 lead, the Heat over the Rampage. And here, a 1-0 lead from Ontario, California. Yet to get underway, the Sockers and Coyotes as well. So the Souls Club, who own the best record in the MASL as well, overall record of 14-3, went up to Turlock after defeating the Ontario Fury last Thursday here from Ontario 8-3. Headed up to Turlock. Turlock taking care of business at home, beating so far this year Tacoma, Sonora, and San Diego. If you haven't figured that out yet, those are three of the top teams in the entire MASL. Turlock, just to give you a glimpse of how they're doing at home, they lost here in Ontario after the restart and the set piece play that sails up and out of bounds from Ontario. But after a home or a road loss here in Ontario, 15-5, Turlock regrouping and playing well at home. Now Hall and Abreu go out for a 50-50 ball, and nearly given away there from De Abreu, and well done from Joey Capinos. Ultimately an easy save for the Fury goalkeeper. And now his twin brother Jamie along the near side. The Capinos twin brothers finding a home out here in Southern California after playing out in Cedar Rapids for the Rampage. A lot of new faces this season. Nick Pereira, Leonardo de Oliveira, the Capinos twins. A foul there along the near side boards. Juan Carlos Charlie Gonzalez, he's known as. One of the local talents on the Ontario Fury roster out of Cal State San Bernardino. But a lot of new faces. Gino Kim, I would say about 3/4, if not 90% of the current Fury roster are new faces that have made Southern California their home. Leonardo de Oliveira, one of them, working against two Tacoma defenders. And now Alanis and Cisse trip up one of the stars, that is Jertson. Point leaders for Tacoma Stars with 23 points apiece is Megson and Anthony Yook. With 22 points is Ramos. 20 points for Derek Johnson. Danny Wallman also with a point on the season as well. He has a goal of his own. Of course, Wallman in the top 10 in save percentage and goals against average in the MASL. Head coach and team president Bernie Lillivaugh always giving props to those players and important key figures in the MASL, one of which being Waltman. Nothing but praise from Lillivaugh. Of course, he's always given praise to his own boys as well. It's been an up and down season overall for the Ontario Fury. That 3-game win streak not too long ago got them back into the mix of the playoff hunt out of the Pacific Division. We'll see if they can rally late here. They have 4 remaining games after tonight to try and earn a playoff position. Of course, Tacoma has to lose 2 games, and Ontario has to win outright. And that left foot again off the foot of Jiho Lee. Waltman standing his ground again for the Stars. 4:15 left to go here in the first quarter. From Ontario, California, the home team Ontario Fury jumping on the scoreboard first off the foot of D. Oliveira, his 17th goal of the season. Francisco in a mix-up here, and he turns the ball over. Tacoma trying to make him pay in their attacking third. It is Cox along the far side boards. Goes around one defender, and toe poked away defensively from Gonsalves. And now he turns the ball over after earning the ball back. It is Cox and Gonsalves along the near side boards, and Jiho Lee will pinch back defensively. That's still maintaining possession here in their attacking third is Tacoma. Off of the far side boards, and unintentionally off the boards from Ramos, and Antoniuk almost got them on the scoreboard. And now back, it is De Oliveira. Looks to his left in Charlie Gonzalez. Overlapping run from Kim, but it's Charlie Gonzalez curling it into the far post, and it's a 2-0 lead for the Ontario Fury. .308 left to go in the first quarter. Give the assist to De Oliveira. Give the goal to Charlie Gonzalez, his 13th on the season and his 18th point. Boy, that was just all about placement on that finish from Gonzalez. And he knows what to do with the ball in that position on the field. Honorable mention for Rookie of the Year in the MASL last season. Charlie Gonzalez continuing his great play in the MSL this year. His 18th point on the season. Now on the restart after the ball hopped up and out of bounds. Douglas Lima sky-high pass intended for his teammate Israel Cisse, putting the pressure on, winning the ball off the boards momentarily. And then Waltman steps off his back line to help out defensively for the Stars. It is Kyrell. A burst of speed utilizing Ty Hall. 1v1 against Caceres. Goes to his right. Played off the boards, and Tacoma unable to get a shot attempt off, but maintaining possession here with 2:15 left to go in the opening quarter from Ontario. Fan appreciation night here from Citizens Business Bank Arena. Intercepted there by De Oliveira right at midfield. No one around him. He'll take on one defender. And laid off to Andy Reyes. Reyes now swallowed up by that Stars defense. And a little difficult to hear that referee whistle, but it was a dead ball whistle. And after the restart, it is Tacoma. Reyes, Francisco, Gonsalves, and Lee on the pitch for Ontario. Unfortunate touch there from Gonsalves. And the referees deemed a defensive clearance. So right at the top of the arc with 1:35 remaining here in the opening quarter from Citizens Business Bank Arena. It is Megson to the left over the ball for Tacoma. He will fake the shot attempt, and it's a layup along the near side. Through one of the players' legs there, and now it is Lee along the far side boards. Defended well there from Ramos. Earns the ball back for Tacoma. 1:20 left to go here in the opening quarter. A wonderful crowd on hand tonight here from CBBA. Nearly both bowls full, as it is Fan Appreciation Night here from Citizens Business Bank Arena. Deflected off the foot of Corey Murray. And a restart coming here for Jamal Cox and the Stars along the far side boards. And now the ball sent in deep after that restart. Trevor Jensen nearly had a fantastic opportunity there. But a tangle up along the far side boards. And a restart coming here for Ontario. Now Francisco with under a minute left to go in the opening quarter. Along the far side boards, defended there from Tacoma and Keats. So the referees calling a tight game here. There's another foul given for Tacoma with 45 seconds remaining here in the opening quarter. Deep ball sent in from Waltman. Controlling along the near sides is Megson. And now Peterson. The ball ending up at Keats' feet near midfield. Ball sent in for Kyrell. Now with 22 seconds remaining. It is Kim defensively for Ontario. Does have Francisco waiting for some more bodies to hop on for the attack. It is Kim along the near side and steered wide after that shot attempt. Under 10 seconds now and steered away defensively from Tacoma. Bray will let this ball roll out in under 3 seconds now. 2-1. And after 1 quarter of play, it is the home team, Ontario Fury 2, and the visitors from Tacoma 0. So your goal scorers for the Ontario Fury: Leonardo de Oliveira, unassisted, grabs his 17th goal and 30th point of the season. And Juan Carlos Charlie Gonzalez gets his 13th of the season, assist going to de Oliveira. Of course, Nick Pereira, who's tops in goals for the Ontario Fury on U.S. Beach national team duties. And Tino Nunez also another scratch for the Fury as he's coaching the Milliken High School girls varsity team. Their opening CIF matchup tonight, which kicked off at 5 p.m. at Corona Santiago. Other scores across the MASL so far tonight was an opening quarter of pure dominance by the Souls of Sonora. It was 7-0. Now in the second quarter, a 9-0 lead over the Sidekicks. Sonora coming off a loss at Turlock. Obviously showing some aggression as they are really just dominating a Sidekicks team who mathematically are eliminated from the playoffs out of the Southwest Division. Sonora Club, an MASL best overall record of 14-3. That is a 9-0 score in the second quarter. In the fourth quarter, it is a Heat 9-6 lead over the Cedar Rapids Rampage. And then coming up shortly, San Diego takes on El Paso at 7:35 kickoff local time. But after 1 quarter of play here from Ontario, it is a 2-0 lead for the Fury, chasing and seeking out a playoff position to represent the Pacific Division are the Fury. The Fury, with their toughest portion of their regular season schedule, starts after tonight's contest here from Ontario. They will visit El Paso, Dallas, Chicago, and Turlock, all on the road, starting next Friday, the 24th. And the 4 games on the road isn't the most difficult part, believe it or not. It is a 3 games in 3 days schedule. So a back-to-back-to-back schedule in El Paso, Dallas, and Chicago. And then rounding out the regular season in Turlock. El Paso and Dallas officially eliminated from playoff contention. Chicago at a 9-7 overall record out of the Central Division, also fighting for a playoff position as well. Turlock mathematically out of the playoffs, out of the Pacific Division. So games that are still going to be highly contested, especially that game in Chicago. But Dallas always putting up a great game against the Ontario Fury. That Dallas game not too long ago here from Citizens Business Bank Arena was probably the game I was closest to losing my voice. An 11-10 overtime victory for the Ontario Fury. That game had 9 different ties as we get set here in the second quarter from Ontario. A 2-0 lead for the home team, Ontario Fury, working from right to left here in the second quarter. So you're watching live action right here on MASL TV's network provided by YouTube.com. So glad you can join us on some Thursday night action. My name is Brian Tabajay. As a shot from the near side nearly found its way to the far post, just wide from Tacoma. Fan appreciation night here from Ontario. The last regular season home game. Fans hoping and wanting more home games this season. Of course, that is all dependent on the outcome here tonight. And 2 overall losses for Tacoma. And if Ontario can simply win outright, they will find themselves in the playoffs. If they do end up both with the same records, an overall record of 12-8, it would be, the tiebreaker would go to the Tacoma Stars. As they are 2-0 so far against Ontario. Those 2 wins coming early on in the campaign this year. Andy Reyes called for that foul in his attacking third. Restart coming here for Waltman and the Stars. Ontario Fury Soccer also driven by Mark Christopher Chevrolet. Fantastic sponsors all throughout the year. Also Casa Colina Hospital and Centers for Healthcare. National Community Corps Renaissance. We had 3 separate jersey auctions this season. As a turnover now. And the young man out of South Korea, Ji-Ho Lee, caps off his MASL debut with a goal of his own off that powerful left foot. And it's 3-0 here with 13:20 left to go in the first half. So 2 out of the 3 Fury goals tonight, fans. Forcing turnovers are the Fury right inside that area of the box and the arc, have resulted in 2 goals as well. And both really, Leonardo de Oliveira and Ji-Ho Lee just teeing off, to say the least. Really, Waltman having very little to no chance on both of those shot opportunities. And it's 3-0 here in the second quarter. Waltman well out of his box, and the goalkeeper's out of his box, and off the left foot of Gino Kim, just wide. Ontario nearly putting 2 goals in a matter of 10 seconds together to really get things going here in the second quarter. Kim now along the far side boards, applying pressure to the Stars and Waltman. Waltman will clear with no hesitation, but now Charlie Gonzalez. Trying to get it out to Murray, and that's broken up there from Hall. As Caceres turned around, it is Hall along the near side, off the boards, and Tacoma with a high boot there, no call. And now Tacoma, and what a nice play defensively. Gino Kim stepping in, and a pull down and an easy call there. Ultimately, there is the blue card given. So the first power play on tonight belongs to the home team Ontario Fury. An easy call in the end for the referees. On the power play for the season, just under 47% on the power play. So with the man advantage, it is the Oliveira, Caceres, Francisco, Lee, and De Abreu working the ball around for Ontario. And now on the power play and on cue, it is another youngster for Ontario. It's De Abreu with the power play goal and a 4-0 lead here in the first half. Ontario working that ball around on the power play to perfection, as De Abreu with nothing more than a tap-in goal for the Fury, and it's 4-0 here in the second quarter. They got to keep this momentum going. I was chatting with head coach and team president before the game, Bernie Lillivaugh, and he mentioned this Tacoma Stars team will never give up. They will never stop fighting. They will always claw their way back into a contest. He mentioned a game early on this season. They were down 6-0 in a contest, ultimately winning that game. And right now we stand at 4-0 here in the second quarter. Plenty of time left to go in tonight's contest with 11:58 left to go in the first half. You do see Darren Sawatsky talking to his troops on the field here at Citizens Business Bank Arena. Record so far here from the Inland Empire for Tacoma, 0-1. And an overall record all time against the Fury at 3-1. So all three of those victories coming from home for Tacoma. Ontario trying to keep up with the trend here from Citizens Business Bank Arena. A 4-0 lead for the Ontario Fury, chasing a playoff position to represent the Pacific Division out of the MASL. Both teams from the South, more specifically the Southwest Division, but Atletico Baja and the Soles de Sonora, both clinching playoff positions. The Soles clinching the Southwest Division, Atletico Baja joining in on the postseason action as they claim the playoff position as well. So Leonardo de Oliveira now strong arms his way past midfield, steers it out wide to Lima. 11.5 left to go here in the first half, a 4-0 lead for the Ontario Fury. Goal scorers for Ontario: De Abreu, Gonzalez, De Oliveira, and Jiho Lee. Lee making his MASL debut out of South Korea, the young futsal star. We saw illustrations of his powerful left foot, and it came to fruition not too long ago, finding the back of the net for the first time in his young career. As Bernie Lillivon, Giovanni Gonzalez, very excited for that young man to get things underway for the home team Ontario Fury. Of course, the Fury, one of the youngest teams across the MASL. Beautiful right-handed stop there off the fingertips and out Tacoma. And Joey Capinos off his back line plays that beautifully. Keep the ball out of the net. Ultimately, a shot that steers up and out of bounds. And with 10:29 left to go in the first half, courtesy of Joey Capinos, it remains a 4-0 game and lead for the home team Ontario Fury. A young team, to say the least, losing Mauricio Salas and Taguino. The Ontario Fury with a handful of youngsters and teenagers from Brazil and South Korea. Now Tacoma on the break. Nearly finds the back of the net for the first time, and now Charlie Gonzalez can hurry if he plays Francisco, and Tacoma fast to get back defensively. Didn't really give Charlie Gonzalez along the far side boards to find Francisco. It was right down the middle of the pitch. And now Waltman for Tacoma. Deep ball sent in from Waltman. Played off the far side boards is Antoniuk, and quickly that is broken up from Ontario. Back checking there is Kyrell. And now Kyrell right down the middle of the pitch. Plays it to the near side over the head of Jensen. And then steered out to the far side from Ontario. Restart coming here for the visitors. Now on the restart is Hall along the near side. A right-footed shot attempt off of the face of Murray. Tacoma maintaining possession. Now Kyrell. And that ball will sail up and out of bounds after a lethal shot attempt off the foot of Kyrell. Hopped up and out of bounds. A 4-0 lead for the Ontario Fury. De Oliveira. And now De Abreu, the last Fury goal scorer on the power play. De Abreu found his 6th goal on the season. The 19-year-old out of Brazil. Now Caceres, who came over from a Las Vegas Legends team that unfortunately had to close the doors for this campaign. They will hopefully continue operations in a year's time. If you missed my interview with Commissioner of the MASL, Commissioner Schaub, he was in town not too long ago, paying a visit to the Inland Empire. Some key things that he touched on, one of which being MASL expansion. Already with the Florida Tropics and the El Paso Coyotes coming to the MASL this season. We'll see what this league has to offer in the upcoming seasons. Now deep ball sent in and broken up there from De Abreu, but a poor pass there. And a shot attempt from Tacoma was wide, but maintaining possession here in their attacking third. And now Francisco right near the timeline for Ontario. If they hurry, there is a counterattack developing. Francisco steers it out to the near side. And they nearly got it off of Andy Reyes and Waltman. A little too casual off the foot of Kim. And now Gonsalves finds its way to the far side and breaks things up defensively. And now Thiago will steer it out to the back line to his goalkeeper, Joey Capinos. Tacoma now very quickly regaining possession. And now Waltman with Francisco and Charlie Gonzalez pressuring. And now Kim. Kim making his way to Southern California from the Ron Newman Cup champions of last season, the Baltimore Blast. And now a timeout on the pitch with 6:47 remaining here in the first half. That timeout called from Ontario. A 4-0 lead for the Fury as they're trying to place themselves in prime position for some postseason play. Fans here showing some love on Fan Appreciation Night here at Citizens Business Bank Arena. A healthy crowd on hand, nearly a sellout here from CBBA. So nice to see everyone showing some love here on a Thursday night out here in Southern California. The Ontario Fury can inch their way closer to a playoff position. If they win tonight, they'll improve their record to 500 at 8-8. Tacoma will then fall to 10-8 overall. And if Tacoma were to lose one more and Ontario to win 4 more games, it would be playoff bound for Ontario. As if you remember, fans, last season in the very last game of the regular season, it was Ontario and it was Tacoma up at Showare Center in Washington last season. It was victorious for the Tacoma Stars, earning a playoff berth. Ontario unfortunately had to watch postseason play from their couches. You better believe they want to win this game tonight and get a little bit of redemption from last season. And that is yet to be determined with 6:47 remaining here in the second quarter. A 4-0 lead for the Ontario Fury. Goal scorers Leonardo de Oliveira, Charlie Gonzalez, Jiho Lee, and Maicon de Abreu. And now off the restart, Charlie Gonzalez, brilliant play off the back line from Waltman. No real shot attempt was given from Ontario. And now Cisse, a little miscommunication between him and Alanis. Alanis forced to work along the near sides, turns the ball over, and now Tacoma working fresh out of the Ontario timeout. Ty Hall trying to play it off the far side boards, and now De Oliveira met right past midfield, and Cisse on the break for Ontario. A wide open net, and it is Lima, and a well done defensively, a slide tackling save there from Jamal Cox of the Tacoma Stars. Score remaining of 4-0. And now Jamie Capinos with under 6 minutes left to go here in the second quarter. Last goal was a power play goal from Ontario. De Oliveira now working along the near side. Cuts his way to the middle, trying to work a 1-2 with Reyes. Broken up there from Tacoma. If you missed it just seconds ago, a slide tackling defensive play from Cox to help out the goalkeeper Waltman, who was playing the ball off his back line. Cisse was on the break for Ontario. And now here you are with 5:15 remaining in the first half. Capinos playing the ball off his back line for Ontario. And now Kyrell for Tacoma. Trying to work against Murray, and Murray wins that battle. And now off the break, and it is Capinos off his back line. After two players, both slide tackling attempts near midfield was broken up. It was a shot from Makeson, and Capinos playing wonderfully off his back line. And now a tangle up in the defensive half of Ontario. Referees may call a foul on the home team Fury. So with 4:37 left to go in the first half, a reset coming here for Tacoma. Makes it off the restart. A little flick on from Kyrell. And a little miscommunication there. Now Francisco on the break for Ontario. Tries to cut to his right foot. And well done from Tacoma. That was McNeely defensively for the Stars. With 4:20 remaining here in the first half. Now Ontario, dangerous ball from Charlie Gonzalez, and Capinos makes it look easy. Plays it to Caceres. And now Capinos off his back line. And now Kim to De Oliveira along the near side. Works it to his right foot. Goes around 2. And it is a clinic from De Oliveira against 2 Tacoma Stars defenders. He finds the upper 90 along the far side post. And it's 5-0 with 3:52 remaining in the first half. Boy, oh boy, De Oliveira and Pereira, 2 of the Fury players that make it look so easy to get around defenders. And it's no slight to Tacoma whatsoever. De Oliveira just quick to go from right to left, back to his right foot, and into the upper 90 against one of the best keepers in the MSL in Waltman. And it's 5-0 here in the first half. But Tacoma now working, trying to get one into the back of the net themselves before half. And now Francisco will lay it off to Reyes. Tried to steer it out wide to Cisse, and now Thiago Gonçalves will settle things down for the Fury. Reyes finds Francisco, backheel pass, and a 1-2. And off his back line was Waltman. Well done from the Tacoma goalkeeper. Now Reyes will settle things down near midfield. He utilizes his goalkeeper, Joey Capinos. 3 minutes left to go here in the second quarter from Ontario. A 5-0 lead for the Ontario Fury, seeking out a playoff position. The team in their way currently, the Tacoma Stars, have yet to win here from Ontario. Cisse, the lone man, pressuring for Ontario. 2:40 remaining in the first half. And it is Waltman on the deep ball for Tacoma. Waiting for that ball was Anthony Hook, and that's broken up defensively from Ontario. Tacoma on the restart. It is Cox along the near side. Jamie Capinos and Francisco defensively for Ontario. A ticky-tack foul call there from the referees on Francisco. And with 2:12 left to go inside their yellow line here, Tacoma. Wonderful chance for a nice set-piece play for the visitors. And they will utilize a timeout. Head coach Darren Sawatsky trying to draw something up here with 2:12 remaining in the first half. They obviously want to get on board before the halftime break. It's been all Ontario so far. A pair of goals from De Oliveira, goals from Charlie Gonzalez, as well as Jiho Lee finding his first career point and goal. And Mike De Abreu with the power play goal of the night for the Ontario Fury, making it 5-0. 4 remaining games outside of tonight's game. And it will be 4 road games, 3 of which come on back-to-back days in El Paso, in Dallas, and Chicago. And then they'll round out the regular season schedule at Turlock. The Tacoma Stars of course, their next game playing host to the Chicago Mustangs on the 24th. And then it is another home game against the San Diego Sockers. And off the restart, along the far side boards, that ball deflected defensively. Now Reyes trying to get it out of harm's way, and Tacoma will get a shot attempt off, just up and out of bounds, off the foot of Corey Keats. With 2 more games after tonight for Tacoma, both home games against Chicago and San Diego. 1:45 remaining here from Ontario, and it is Hall along the near side. And they're steered off the right foot. That was Ramos, and ultimately an easy save for the Ontario goalkeeper Capinos. Deep ball sent in for De Oliveira. 1.5 left to go here in the second quarter. Ball turned over from Ontario, and Cox will work for Tacoma. And now the goalkeeper for the Stars, Waltman. Deep ball sent in for Hall. Tried to undercut Murray there. Earns the ball back for Tacoma. With 1:10 left to go here in the first half. And now Hall defended by Murray. A 5-0 lead for the home team Ontario Fury. Trying to get themselves in playoff position. Caceres now will clear it out of harm's way. Unfortunately, that will be a defensive clearance. So a restart at the arc for the visitors. 48.5 seconds remaining after the defensive clearance from Caceres. It is Makeson, and it is a fake, and then ultimately a shot off the left foot of Cox, and that's steered up and out of bounds. A corner now for Tacoma. Makeson for the Stars. And steered out wide off the left foot, and Makeson had a wide open net. And that's just how things have been going so far for the Stars. And now the Stars and Caceres for Ontario will clear it out of harm's way momentarily. Under 30 seconds remaining here in the first half. 1v1 along the far side against Kim. A left-footed shot attempt steered wide and then off the right foot, and then Makeson nearly plucked out the corner. So Tacoma scrambling. Ontario so far still keeping it out of harm's way. Under 5 seconds now left to go in the first half. 3, 2 seconds, and now 1. And it will be a 5-0 lead for the Ontario Fury. That is exactly how you want to end things after 2 quarters of play. Stay tuned for the second half. Coming up shortly here from Ontario, California. You can catch it all live here, right here on MASL TV. My name is Brian Tabjay. We'll be back with the second half shortly. A 5-0 lead for the home team Ontario Fury heading into the second half.
Is it delayed? Anything that they're saying specifically? Anything that they're saying specifically?
Hello and welcome back to Ontario, California. My name is Brian Tabajay. So glad you can tune in to the second half. Just moments away here from Citizens Business Bank Arena. Fan Appreciation Night here from Southern California, and the fans are out in full force. Nearly a sellout here on a Thursday night in the Inland Empire. What a thing to see. The Ontario Fury all over the Tacoma Stars in that first half. A 5-0 lead. Goal scorers goes as follows for the home team, Ontario Fury. A pair of goals from Leonardo de Oliveira. Charlie Gonzalez with his 13th of the year. Jiho Lee makes his MASL debut, the futsal star out of South Korea. And then Maicon de Abreu, the youngster out of Brazil, with the power play goal. Rounds out the 5 goals for the Ontario Fury. Of course, the Fury seeking a playoff position. The team standing in their way so far are the visitors from Washington, the Tacoma Stars. Tacoma have yet to win here in this building. The Ontario Fury trying to keep up with that trend, make sure that holds pat here tonight. Ontario unwinnable up in Washington, 0-3 so far with games at ShoWare Center. But two teams that stand in a potential second place and second position for the Pacific Division, and a playoff position, more importantly, in the MASL. Right now, it is the Tacoma Stars at 10-7. Ontario Fury trying to draw back to 500, currently at 7-8 on the season. A 3-game win streak got them back into the mix. And that was broken up from the Soles de Sonora club after wins over Atletico Baja, the Dallas Stars, and the Turlock Express, one of which was a 21-goal game affair, an 11-10 victory, an overtime 11-10 victory for the Fury over Dallas. That was when our friend Caden Henderson stopped by and joined me on the broadcast. And then against the season-high 15-goal game against Turlock, Commissioner Schaub was in the building visiting Southern California. One of the stops, obviously, out here in Ontario. And a shot now from Mason off the right foot inside his yellow line. He's deflected, but Mason with the pressure. Off the boards, they work Tacoma. And now along the far side, it is Jamie Capinos. That ball trickles to the goalkeeper, Joey. And then for a split second, broken up there defensively from McNeely. Well, Commissioner Schaub touched on expansion in the MASL. Florida and El Paso joining the MASL this year. We'll see what is soon to come in this thriving league of the MASL. Tacoma holding that second place position in the Pacific. Ontario nipping at the heels for that second playoff spot. So far, the only two teams that have claimed playoff positions, both teams from Mexico, Atletico Baja and the Soles de Sonora Club. Now on the break is Francisco. He does have Lima to the near side. Francisco now steers it to Murray. Tacoma did a brilliant job coming back defensively, making sure Francisco didn't have a real effective shot attempt there. 12.5 left to go in the third quarter. It was a 5-0 lead at the half for Ontario, trying to build off of that lead. And a tangle up right past midfield. It is Lima. And Jensen. Both players are up and okay. And after the restart, Capinos for Ontario, the goalkeeper. Right into the hands of the Tacoma goalkeeper, Waltman. And now Tacoma working in their defensive half, working from right to left on the broadcast here in the third quarter. A healthy crowd on hand tonight. So glad you can tune in and join us live right here on MASL TV, provided by YouTube. Now Ontario. Cisse on the break for Ontario. Waltman well out of his box, plays that ball back into their attacking half is Waltman. Up and out of bounds, the ball sails, and a restart coming for Tacoma. Now along the near side boards, Tacoma works. Trying to play keep away so far. So far, the possession in the second half has been all Tacoma. And playing the ball off the far side boards. Still applying pressure is Tacoma. And trying to get things going here early on in the second half. Now off the boards, they work. And that was ultimately a handball off of Antoniuk. Now the restart coming for the goalkeeper of Ontario, Joey Capinos. At midfield is De Oliveira. He lays the ball off to the far side to Lee. De Oliveira, the no-look pass to the far side boards to Charlie Gonzalez. He does have Alanis to his right, steers it to his left. And Jiho Lee. Lee making his MASL debut, the youngster out of South Korea, also with futsal experience on the pitch for Ontario. And now Hall working along the near side with McNeely for Tacoma. Toe poked away defensively from Charlie Gonzalez, still near midfield. A tangle up away from the ball between De Oliveira and Hall, and this will go Tacoma's way with 9:59 left to go here in the third quarter. A 5-0 lead for the Ontario Fury. Tacoma, a team that will always claw and scratch their way back into a contest. Speaking with head coach and team president Bernie Lillavois before the game. Nothing but high praise for these boys from Tacoma. And now Ontario with the pressure here from De Oliveira and Lee. Waltman splits those defenders, and Tacoma now working along the far side to the near side off the left foot of Hall, just over the top of the goal. Tacoma with all the pressure so far here early on in the second half. That was their best scoring attempt so far here in the third quarter. Waltman now steps well up into his defensive half. To the near side, it works to Hall. Defended there from Murray. Shielding one defender off. It is De Oliveira, and then a late whistle after a deflection off of Murray. And referees calling a tight game here tonight. And now off the restart here is Tacoma. Some updated scores. Final between the Heat and the Rampage, a 9-6 victory for Harrisburg. 12-1, the Souls all over Dallas in the third quarter. And the Sockers and Coyotes underway in the second quarter. San Diego on top, 5-2. Just out of the reach of Tacoma along the near side boards. Now Joey Capinos will work for Ontario. Deep ball sent in for De Abreu. Lays the ball down near midfield. It is Gino Kim. And now Caceres. 8:15 left to go in the third quarter. A 5-0 lead. Capinos will let this ball trickle all the way down and then ultimately pick it up and roll the ball out to Caceres. And now a turnover, and it is Mason for Tacoma. Lays the ball off, and they finally get on the stat sheet. Tacoma with the only goal here in the third quarter. And Mason with some emphasis there. Fires the ball back into the back of the net. But it is Peterson. Mason and Peterson making it happen for Tacoma. Joey Capinos a little too casual on the back line defensively with Caceres. And Tacoma capitalizes. It's 5-1 with 7:59 left to go here in the third quarter. So Peterson with his fourth goal of the season and his fourth point as well. But it was all Mason on that play. Getting the assist, his 12th of the season, 24th point from Mason. Head coach of Tacoma, Darren Sawatsky, letting his boys know they got to keep the pressure up here in the third quarter. So far it's been all Tacoma. Ontario does have a tendency to get a little too relaxed, maybe a little too comfortable at times at certain points in the game. This being one of them so far here early on in the second half. If you remember, in games against Atletico Baja and Turlock early on in the season, here from Citizens Business Bank Arena, they did have healthy leads in both of those games. The visitors in both games chopped the lead in half, and it was actually one goal deficits at one point in both scenarios, but ultimately the Fury winning both of those games. The point being, fans, is they cannot get too relaxed here against a team who's hungry for playoff position as well. Plenty of time left to go here in tonight's contest. A 5-1 lead here with 7:30 left to go in the third quarter. A foul along the far side boards committed from Cox of the Stars. And now Consalvis on the restart for Ontario. It is the goalkeeper, Joey Capinos, right at midfield. And a deep ball sent in, intended for Cisse, but finds the foot of Francisco, and the save of the game so far belongs to Waltman. Well, I'll tell you, it was about a split second of reaction time for Waltman. In the end, a brilliant save from the Tacoma goalkeeper. Francisco of Ontario did all the right things for the Fury, putting it on net, getting a flick-on touch, and it was Waltman, who is in top 10 in save percentage and goals against average in the MASL for a reason. And the score remains 5-1 Ontario with 6:35 remaining in the third quarter. Deep ball sent in to De Oliveira. Does have a pair of goals on the night so far. He led the team in points and goals last year for Detroit. And if you're unfamiliar with any of these players or the Fury team in general, fans, there's only about 2, maybe 3 original pieces from last year's team. De Oliveira, a new piece. Alanis, a new piece. Gino Kim, Jiho Lee, De Abreu. The list goes on and on and on. And now Charlie Gonzalez. Along the near side is broken up defensively from Tacoma. And now Murray steps in. Well done from him. And it is a youngster from South Korea. Jiho Lee, he'll utilize Caceres at midfield. Lima now. The 19-year-old out of Brazil. Murray will take his time with 5.5 remaining in the third quarter. Deep ball sent in from Capinos. Now Waltman all over that ball. If it was just maybe a few inches shorter, De Oliveira probably would have had a quality scoring attempt. Right idea. A little too much on the execution there from the goalkeeper of Ontario. Deep ball now sent in for a Hall. Defending there from Consalvis. Sky-high clearance. And Tacoma working the ball still in their attacking half. Gonsalves breaks that up momentarily to the near side. He did have the Oliveira, and now Hall. But Capinos plays the ball off his back line. Right outside the yellow line. It is Hall along the far side and across, and now a blue card is going to be given after a defensive attempt that Corey Keats showing displeasure towards, and Lima. Lima will find his way to the box. So Tacoma on the power play for the first time tonight. Last time there was a power play in the game tonight, it was a power play goal for Ontario. Tacoma on the season on the power play, 39%. Your home team, Ontario Fury, on the kill, 53%. So with the man advantage, let's see if Tacoma can get a pair of consecutive goals here in the third quarter. On the kill for Ontario, it is Cisse, Reyes, Murray, and Capinos. On the power play is Keats, Ramos, Megson, McNeely, and Antoniuk. And it is a clearance to get this penalty kill underway for Ontario. 4:25 remaining in the third quarter. A minute 40 left to go on this power play for Tacoma. Reyes, the nearest man to the ball, and he works and earns the ball back. Nearly a defensive clearance, but it looked like it deflected off those near side boards. And it is a deflection off the near side board, so no defensive clearance. Tacoma claiming that it was a straight defensive clearance. But a restart nonetheless coming for Tacoma. The Fury on the penalty kill, a minute 32 left to kill for Ontario. Cisse, Reyes, Murray, and Capinos. A right-footed shot attempt steered wide, and now Reyes for Ontario. Cisse tried to clear it out defensively. Off the foot, along the far side, off of Ramos. Now Tacoma with a minute 10 left to go on the power play. Off the right foot, steered away from Capinos. That is Ramos along the far side. Steers it to Keats. And now McNeely deflected momentarily. And under a minute now left to go on the penalty kill. It is Israel Cisse streaking down the far side, going 1v2. And that's broken up and steered out of harm's way. And now Tacoma on the break. It is a steer out to the right side from Megson. He couldn't have played that any better. But they're claiming a playback on Ontario. Unintentional. But they're lining the ball up at the top of the arc. But it is no pass back, but a restart coming here for Tacoma. It is Megson to the near side, and they get another goal. Is Tacoma. That is Dan Antoniuk, his 12th of the season, give the assist to Megson. So the team leaders in points in Antoniuk and Megson. A power play goal for Tacoma. And it is a 5-2 lead here with 3:12 left to go in the third quarter. A pair of unanswered goals from the visitors. Ontario have yet to wake up in the second half, fans. Was a 5-0 lead. Let's see if they can capitalize. It's Francisco! And just off the top of the goal. And then an unlucky bounce from Francisco Waltman. Doing as best as he can. Keeping that ball out of the net. The score remains 5-2 with 2:58 left to go in the third quarter. It's been about 70-30 possession for Tacoma in this third quarter. And the goals only scored in this quarter as well. A pair of unanswered ones from the visitors. So Francisco, with his second best opportunity of the third quarter. Waltman doing big things between those posts here in the third quarter. An unexpected bounce and not the touch you want to utilize there from Lee. And with 2:49 left to go, Tacoma on the restart. Now a lazy ball given and Waltman forced to play the ball up and out of bounds. One referee signals a defensive clearance. Another calling a timeout for the home team Ontario Fury. So it looks like it will be a defensive clearance on Waltman. Unofficially, that is yet to be determined, but a timeout from the Ontario Fury, and Bernie Lillival wants to talk things over with his boys, try and settle things down here in the third quarter. After a 5-0 halftime lead, it is 2 unanswered from the visitors out of Washington. Head coach Darren Sawatsky barking to his boys, letting them know that there is plenty of time left to go. And Ontario's going to really have to earn this victory here at home to close out regular season play here from Ontario. Fan appreciation night here from Citizens Business Bank Arena. And Ontario trying to get themselves into the MASL playoffs to represent the Pacific Division. Of course, the Tacoma Stars, the team standing in their way. It is the San Diego Sockers and Tacoma Stars in the top 2 spots in the Pacific Division. Overall records, 10-7 for Tacoma, 7-8 for the Fury. And here on the restart after a defensive clearance, it is Caceres. De Oliveira to his left, Lee to his right. He'll lay it off to De Oliveira. Fires away, that's deflected from Tacoma. Now he'll utilize Joey Capino's off his back line. Streaking down the field is Hall, forcing pressure by the Fury goalkeeper. And now Caceres along the far side. Pressure there from Kyrell and a deflection. And it is Fury ball after that deflection. 2:25 remaining in the third quarter. A 5-2 lead for the Ontario Fury. 2:22 remaining in the third quarter. Deep ball sent in, intended for De Oliveira. That lands at the foot of Caceres. Tried to switch the field on a volley there was Caceres, and the ball landing here for Lima. Shoves off his man, that is McNeely, streaking down right down the middle of the pitch, Ramos. Shields off Lima, lays the ball off, and that is McNeely, and now Ramos, and it's 3 unanswered goals from the visitors. A 5-3 lead for the Ontario Fury. Let's hope the Fury make it out of this third quarter with a lead. So Michael Ramos with his 13th goal of the season. Right in his wheelhouse, and with 1:57 left to go in the third quarter, this will be a very entertaining fourth quarter here from the Inland Empire. Deep ball sent in for Reyes, just out of his touch, and Waltman will play. At the feet of Cox. And it is Waltman looking for an option right down the middle of the pitch. He'll dribble himself. Deep ball sent in. Cox nearest man, and off the head of Thiago into the hands of his goalkeeper Joey Capinos, and he'll play the ball. 1:29 left to go. Deep ball sent in for Francisco along the far side. I would say the next goal in this match would prove critical in the end result. A shot off the far side boards off the foot of Megson. With a minute 10 left in the third quarter, Tacoma smelling blood. Cisse now defensively along the near side for Ontario. Lays it off to Francisco. Deep ball intended for Charlie Gonzalez, steered away from Tacoma. And now Waltman with under a minute left to go here in the third quarter. It is Waltman and McNeely. They'll work their way out of their defensive half. And now Kyrell. Kyrell will get a shot off and into the hands of the Fury goalkeeper. 30 seconds remaining to go in the third quarter. Deep ball thrown to De Oliveira. Broken up from Kyrell. And now Megson. It is Lima pressuring for Ontario. And in the third quarter so far, it's been all Tacoma. Off those far side boards. And now with under 10 seconds left to go, Ontario trying to hang on here. De Oliveira with 2 seconds and now 1. And Ontario escapes that third quarter, fans, with a 5-3 lead over the visitors from Washington. The Tacoma Stars 3 unanswered goals from the visitors. It is a 5-3 lead. The fourth quarter from Citizens Business Bank Arena coming up in just moments. Other scores across the MASL. Things have gone final between the Heat and Rampage. 9-6 Harrisburg over Cedar Rapids. In the third quarter, it is 16-2. The Souls over the Sidekicks. And in the second, it is San Diego leading the Coyotes 5-2. And here in the third intermission, it is the home team, Ontario Fury, leading 5-3 over the visitors from Tacoma. The Stars trying to maintain their playoff position. Ontario Fury trying to itch their way back into playoff contention. Of course, the 3-game win streak that was just stopped there from the best team in the MASL. The Ontario Fury had a 3-game win streak, beating the Dallas Sidekicks, the Turlock Express, and Atletico Baja, one of which was a 21-goal game victory in overtime for the Ontario Fury, 11-10. But here we are, just moments away from a fourth quarter, which, well, to say the least, will be entertaining. If you're just tuning in, it was a 2-0 lead after one from Ontario, and then a 5-0 lead at the half, of course, for Ontario. And then at the end of 3, it was 3 unanswered goals from Tacoma, a 5-3 lead for Ontario. All the momentum right now with the visitors. All the concern right now for head coach Bernie Lilleval and his boys. They have a tendency to kind of take their foot off the gas pedal, so to speak. Early on in the season, both games that they did so, they still remained victorious, but they were games that they had absolute control of. And in this game tonight specifically, they had control after one half of play, but after 3 quarters of play, the momentum is all with Tacoma. Ontario Fury Soccer, driven by Mark Christopher Chevrolet. Ontario Fury Soccer also partners with Casa Colina Hospital and Centers for Healthcare. Also National Community Corps Renaissance. We had some fantastic jersey auctions this season. One from Casa Colina, one from the Shoe Family YMCA of Upland, one of the training facilities of your home team, Ontario Fury. And the third and final jersey auction from National Community Corps Renaissance, all of which great fundraisers for these local sponsors and partners. And of course tonight, a fan appreciation night here from Ontario, California. Nearly a sellout crowd here from Citizens Business Bank Arena. So glad you can join us right here live on MASL TV, the network for the MASL, provided by YouTube.com. My name is Brian Tabajay. As the fourth quarter from Ontario is underway, a 5-3 lead for the Ontario Fury. Sit back and relax and enjoy the fourth quarter here from Ontario. Should be quite entertaining after a 5-0 lead has been cut down to 2. Off the foot of Leonardo de Oliveira along the near side is steered away from Tacoma. Ontario did have a pair of quality scoring opportunities, but it is now Tacoma. Right down the near side of the pitch, that is Ramos. And along the far side, Keats will control for the Stars. 1v1 against Kim. Easy save for Capinos. And now deep ball sent in for Cisse. On the break for Ontario. And just wins that ball, but Waltman plays it off the wall very easily for the Stars. The fourth quarter just underway here from Ontario. A 5-0 lead at the half for Ontario. And it's been 3 unanswered goals for the visitors, who hold that second place position in the Pacific. Currently right now, it is a playoff position up for grabs. If Tacoma were to come back and win tonight's contest, would be a very uphill battle for Ontario. If Ontario wins tonight, they definitely have a quality chance of getting that second place position in the Pacific, but that is still a very long ways away with 13:20 remaining in the fourth quarter. A 5-3 lead for the Ontario Fury. Overall record for Tacoma is 10-7. Overall record for Ontario 7-8. 13 minutes left to go here in the fourth quarter. 5 unanswered from Ontario, and then 3 unanswered from Tacoma. De Oliveira working along the far side and steered away defensively from Tacoma. Back defensively is Gonsalves and Murray. Gino Kim makes sure nothing happens there. Goalkeeper for Ontario plays the ball, and now Gino Kim, deep ball sent in for Cisse. 12.5 left to go, an unintentional handball. Nonetheless, a whistle there from the referees, and a restart coming for Tacoma. If you're interested in season tickets for next year, you can always call 909-457-0252 to see what all this hype and action is about across the MASL. So glad you can join us tonight here from Citizens Business Bank Arena. Nearly a sellout crowd and fan appreciation night here to close out the regular season home schedule for the Fury. And now McNeely earns the ball back for Tacoma. Kyrell tried to kind of steer it to the far side boards, but Capinos read that ball. And now Murray working along the near side against Hall. Pokes it into Cisse's territory. And now Lee will work, but there's a foul call there. .11:34 remaining. Fourth quarter just underway. Mason going 1v1 against Alanis. It is Mason along the far side, off the boards, and they'll steer it into the far side boards. Tacoma, and a goal from Ramos cuts the lead to 1 here in the fourth quarter. Five to 4, the Ontario Fury still lead here. But in the second half, it's been really a tale of two halves. First half all Ontario, second half so far all Tacoma, and the score proves no difference. A 5-4 game with 11:22 remaining here in the fourth quarter. Andy Reyes now for Ontario, shoved in the back, and Kim, now De Oliveira tries to volley his way into the back of the net, but there is a deflection. A push in the back is what head coach Lilavois is exclaiming about to the referees. No foul was given, and play on we are. On the attack now is Tacoma. To the far side they work, and just steered wide. Caceres will play that ball off the near side boards. Tacoma maintaining possession. 10:45 left to go here in the fourth quarter. Reyes now the closest Fury defender. And now Kim, and now De Abreu. De Oliveira, that ball sails well wide, and De Abreu will apply some pressure. It is Capinos that hops onto the pitch for Ontario. It's Capinos. Kim applying pressure now on Waltman. And out of harm's way they work from McNeely. Away from the ball, Andy Reyes of Ontario hits the deck. Makes in, trying to figure out what happened. Head coach and head trainer Shelby Daly and Lilavois seek out to Andy Reyes, but it will be a penalty on Mason and Tacoma. This foul was away from the ball in their defensive half. Reyes and Mason got in some sort of a tangle up there, and Mason finds his way to the penalty box. So another power play here for Ontario. They were successful on the last power play in the first half. It was a power play goal from Maicon De Abreu. And to start the power play with 10:07 left to go in the fourth quarter, it is Caceres, De Oliveira, Lee, De Abreu, and Francisco. Along the near side they work. Minute 45 left to go on the power play for Ontario. Ball steers out wide to Lee. And out to De Abreu and Caceres. Francisco steers the ball right in the middle of the goal and steers all the way to the far side boards. It is De Abreu, and that's broken up there from Keats. Caceres pinches in defensively, earns the ball back for Ontario. Steers it to the near side to De Oliveira. Fires away. That's defended there from Tacoma. I believe that was off of McNeely. And now De Oliveira along the near side. To Lee. Does have a shooting lane. Fires away off that left foot, just wide. Under a minute now left to go on the power play for Ontario. Makes it in the box for Tacoma. Off the left foot again is Lee. Bouncing ball. And that sails up and out of bounds, and a restart coming here for Tacoma. 51 seconds remaining on the power play. 8:58 left to go in the fourth quarter. And now Tacoma on the break, shorthanded. It is Ramos. He'll work to his left foot. That is deflected from Caceres. But deflected from Caceres. They'll restart right outside their attacking yellow line. That is Keats on the restart. Ontario is on the power play, but it is Tacoma with possession. Deep ball sent in for Waltman, intended for Ramos. Now De Abreu and Lee. Held up there, no foul from Keats. Play on we go. And tried to steer it out to the far side. But here we go for Ontario. 15 seconds remaining on the power play for Ontario. DeOliveira along the near side. Steers it to Francisco. Fires, and that's well wide of the net. Remaining possession with 5 seconds left to go on the power play. Caceres, utilizing some time. Maxon hops out of the penalty box along the far side. And that shot is steered away from Waltman. That was a shot off the foot of De Abreu. And now DeOliveira does have a shooting lane along the far side or near side. Swallowed up into the hands of Waltman. And a timeout called with 7:50 left to go in the fourth quarter. Boy, it has been all Tacoma in this second half. In the first half, it was all the home team Ontario Fury. The Fury trying to get off on the right foot to hit the road to end out the regular season. A 4-game road trip to end the regular season. Tonight is Fan Appreciation Night here from Citizens Business Bank Arena. My name is Brian Tabaji. So glad you can join us right here on the network of MASL Action, MASL TV, provided by YouTube.com. I want to welcome in all the fans tuning in from Washington as well. The Stars have clawed their way back from a 5-goal deficit, which was a 5-0 lead at the half. Head coach and team president Bernie Lillivois and his boys trying to break up that unanswered goal streak from Tacoma. Out of the timeout, Andy Reyes, Leonardo DeOliveira, Gino Kim, the Capinos twins, and Thiago Gonçalves with 7:50 remaining in the fourth quarter. Of course, it's Waltman in between the posts for the Stars. Jensen, Cox, McNeely, Johnson, and Antoniuk on the field for Tacoma. Ontario Fury Soccer, driven by Mark Christopher Chevrolet. If you'd like to see what all the hype is here in the MASL fans, season tickets for next year's campaign already on sale. You can visit the box office here at Citizens Business Bank Arena or call 909-457-0252 for ticket availability as well. Now Tacoma along the near side. And that's broken up momentarily from Ontario. Now the Fury scrambling to clear it out or regain possession. It is Jamie Capinos along the near side, settling the ball down now after a 50-50 challenge. No foul call given there. And out of his box to play that ball is Joey Capinos. What a save that was from the Fury goalkeeper. Reyes now applying pressure along the far side. And the ball will end at Waltman's feet. It was a bouncing 50-50 challenge between Reyes and one of the Stars players. That Stars player's shaken up for a split second, and he is up and okay. And now DeOliveira along the near side. And it is Kim. He does have Cisse along the far side. Takes a shot himself off the post and remains out. Kim had the goalkeeper beat. That ball remains out, and it's still a 5-4 lead for Ontario. It was a 2-on-1, and now Tacoma defensively. Hall plays the ball off the wall. Joey Capinos off his back line will steer the ball forward. Intended for DeOliveira. Ball settled down for Tacoma in their defensive half. 6:05 remaining in the fourth quarter. A 5-4 lead for the home team, Ontario Fury. Deep ball sent in from Waltman. Mason working 1v1 against Alanis. Tacoma earning the ball back. It is Ramos, and now a sky-high clearance. Keats will earn the ball back for Tacoma. Alanis, the only defender, right around one defender and two, and now three. Capinos off his back line. No whistle, the ball trickling along the goal line. That ball remains out. I don't know how it did, but it did. And just like that fortunate opportunity for the Fury, Tacoma earning theirs just seconds before that off the post. And 5:10 left to go in the fourth quarter. They trade opportunities here in the fourth. This quarter is flying by with action. 5-4, the Fury lead. Deep ball sent in. That's broken up there from Mason and the Stars. Near midfield they work, defended by Reyes and Francisco. They'll utilize Waltman and now McNeely. 4:40 remaining in the fourth quarter. Deep ball sent in, intended for Mason. Murray will head that ball up and out of bounds. A defensive clearance. So a very critical, crucial set piece play coming up here for the visitors. It is Mason over the ball to restart. A three-man wall for Ontario. Does have McNeely to his right. And he'll play it to his left. Off the right foot, I believe that was Johnson. Sails up and out of bounds. Restart coming for Ontario. 4:34 left to go in the fourth quarter. Deep ball sent in from Capinos. Takes a couple deflections. That ball remains with Ontario right past midfield. Caceres now playing the ball for Ontario. 4:25 remaining in the fourth quarter. Deep ball sent in for De Oliveira. 1v1 for the Fury along the near side. He'll utilize Caceres. Along the near sideboards, they'll play it all the way back to Joey Capinos. Capinos now sent in for De Oliveira. Plays the ball off the near sideboards, defended by two Stars. And he will go ahead and utilize Capinos again. Late pressure applied from Antoniuk, and deep ball sent in again for De Oliveira. And again, it'll be played back to Capinos. Gonçalves looking for an option, splits a couple defenders, and it is Capinos again with the ball. 3:35 left to go in the fourth quarter. DeBray will utilize the far side boards. It is Lee along the far side. De Oliveira now to the near side. Gets it to his right foot and deflected there from Kyrell. With 3:15 left to go in the fourth quarter. Fresh bodies onto the pitch for Ontario. Charlie Gonzalez asking for the ball. And that steers out to Lee. And out to Gonzalez. He does have De Oliveira to his left. Lays it off to the near side. To Gonzalez. Utilizes his left foot. That's deflected from Tacoma. Under 3 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. To the far side, Ontario works with Gonçalves. Has a shooting lane. Takes it! Off the post again. That's the second post they've hit in the fourth quarter. We'll utilize some clock here with 2:35 remaining in the fourth quarter. Capinos lays it off the far side boards. It is Kim going against three Stars defenders. And a Waltman now for Tacoma as they earn the ball back. Capinos heads the ball out of harm's way. And it is Kim along the far side. Ramos now for Tacoma. Inside his yellow line. Lays it off to the far side. And Tacoma ties the game with 2:10 remaining in the fourth. Ontario in the last 3, maybe 3.5 minutes, playing keep away, trying to utilize that clock, and it backfires on them ultimately in the end. A finish that Joey Capinos really couldn't do anything about. And we have a tie game at 5 apiece with 2 minutes and 10 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. Deep ball sent in for Caceres. Off the head defensively from Tacoma, and it is Francisco off his right foot. Sky high defensive clearance. Settling down, a handball, no call given there. Murray pinching in defensively, and now Caceres, who's shoved near midfield, and then a foul after the ball was steered away with 1:47 remaining in the fourth. To the far side, the ball works to Lee. And now Murray with 1:40 remaining in the fourth. Chico Francisco, dangerous ball sent into the goalkeeper, Capinos. And now a deep ball sent in for Cisse. He steers past 2 defenders, lays it off to the near side to Murray. Murray tripped up there along the near side boards, and a foul committed by Hall of the Stars. 1:21 seconds remaining. We're all tied at 5. 5 unanswered from Ontario in the first half, 5 unanswered in the second half from Tacoma. And Ontario will utilize a timeout on the field. 1:21 remaining in the fourth quarter here from Ontario. Scores that have gone final or close to final. In the fourth quarter, it is a 21-2 score. The Sonora Club out of Mexico all over the Dallas Sidekicks. Final between the Heat and the Rampage, 9-6 Harrisburg over Cedar Rapids. In the third quarter, it is the Sockers 8, the Coyotes 3, and of course here in the fourth quarter, we're all tied at 5. If you're just tuning in, it was a 2-0 lead at the end of one quarter, Ontario, a 5-0 lead at the half for Ontario, a 5-3 lead for Ontario, and with 1:21 seconds left here in the fourth quarter, we are all tied at 5 apiece. A tale of two halves, to say the least, and a very crucial, very important restart and set piece play coming up for Ontario along the near side boards. It is Caceres, Reyes, Lee, Consalves, and De Oliveira on the pitch for Ontario. Caceres, the man standing over the ball to restart. 1:21 remains in the fourth quarter. A layoff attempt, and it is finished from Lee off the left foot. And with 1:19, it's 6-5. So what a way to make your MASL debut. The youngster out of South Korea gets the 6th goal for Ontario. Excuse me, almost lost my voice on that call. But it is Lee after a well-executed set-piece play from the near side boards. It is Lee to finish for Ontario, who plucked out the bottom left corner, and we have 1:19 seconds remaining. Extra attacker on for Tacoma. Let's see what unfolds here. Reyes, Cisse, De Abreu, Consalves, and Caceres defensively for Ontario. Cisse with all the pressure up front, but it is Tacoma And now nearly a defensive clearance. Officially, it is Ontario exclaiming it took a deflection, but the near side referee calling the defensive clearance. And if the last set piece play was that important for Ontario, this is even more important for the visiting Tacoma Stars. McNeely, the man over the ball for Tacoma. He'll fire away, and that's deflected off the back of Reyes. Ontario trying to get the last 45.3 seconds off this clock. 6-5 they lead. 5 unanswered goals apiece. The last goal provided by Ji-Ho Lee, making his MASL debut tonight here at home. What a way to do so with 2 goals under his left foot. On the restart, deep ball sent in for De Oliveira. A wrestling match occurs there, and no real foul, but the refs have been calling a very tight game all night long. 40.2 seconds remain here in the fourth quarter. 6-5 Ontario. It is McNeely. And now along the near side, and then off his back line. Capinos plays the ball. Kyrell tried to do something special there for Tacoma. And now Cisse will steer it to the goal towards the end of the line here. 10 seconds remaining for this fourth quarter. Steered away from Cisse, and De Oliveira will try and steer this into the net, and they do. 0.4 seconds remaining. Ontario, it isn't official yet, but this will be a 7-5 victory for the home team, Ontario Fury. What a game for Fan Appreciation Night here at Citizens Business Bank Arena. Ontario will have to hold on for the remaining 0.4 seconds to make it official. Fans, and it is here from Ontario, a 7-5 Ontario Fury victory here at Citizens Business Bank Arena. And they improve their record to 8-8. They are at an even 500. Tacoma will drop to 10-8 overall. Tacoma, with 2 games remaining in their regular season schedule, both at home against Chicago and San Diego. Ontario will hit the road, and they will play 4 home games to close out their season starting next week. It will be a trip to El Paso, Dallas, Chicago, and Turlock for the Ontario Fury. 3 of the 4 games are on back-to-back days, so it'll be truly a regular season ending of just straight will to earn a playoff position for this team. A team of a lot of youth, a team that has had their roster mixed up and down throughout the entire season. Head coach and team president Bernie Lillivaugh, director of soccer operations Giovanni Gonzalez. They've done quite a job to bring this Ontario Fury team where they are tonight, which is in a playoff hunt to represent the Pacific Division. Currently, right now, as it stands, Tacoma, well deserving at that second place position in the Pacific Division. Ontario nipping at their heels with 4 games remaining. Tacoma will need to lose 1 more game. Ontario will have to win outright to solidify a playoff position because of the head-to-head. This was a third match. The first two games were won by Tacoma up in Washington early on in the season. And if they end with identical records, the tiebreak would go to Tacoma because of the head-to-head series this season. So Ontario on the right foot to make this miracle comeback of a season to earn the playoff position. And from Ontario, California, it has been quite the season of ups and downs and peaks and valleys with this team. A young team, a team that has a lot to prove, a team that has leadership up and down the roster, and a team that is very hungry to earn a playoff position. It would be the second playoff berth in franchise history. So I would like to thank everyone who's part of this great production here for the Ontario Fury, my broadcast partners in the production booth, my team as well as the statisticians, the production team for Citizens Business Bank Arena, the entire staff here for Ontario Fury, and of course the staff here for Citizens Business Bank Arena. I couldn't be happier to be part of such a great organization and an entirely overall well-respected, growing league in the MASL. I can't wait to see what unfolds the rest of the season for Ontario. So, from everyone here for the production for Ontario Fury, provided by the MASL TV network on YouTube.com, from Citizens Business Bank Arena, my name is Brian Tabajay. We will see you hopefully in a playoff home game. We will see what happens. I'll tune in just like you fans will, and we'll see you, if not in a few weeks, next season for sure, where you can tune in for more passion, power, and fury. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. So long from Ontario. Final score, 7-5, the Fury over Tacoma. Thank you very much.
Our turf is beautiful. We want to keep it that way. Please remember, no food or drinks on the turf at any time. Thank you very much.
Why would he say that?